Illegal gang member assaults an ICE officer after being freed to the streets by sanctuary city Denver. This is the same storyline that Mike Johnston, mayor of Denver, talked about in front of Congress yesterday. Let's get into it. Here we go. Got a video coming out on some of the highlights, congressional testimony from the four mayors of the sanctuary cities. We've got Denver, you got Mike Johnston, you got Let's Go Brandon Johnson from Chicago, you got Mayor Wu from Boston, and then you got Eric Adams, who was kind of a sleeper, city of New York, because he's basically rolled over to the Trump administration, and they're saying, you know what, Department of Justice, we're going to recommend that all of Eric Adams' trumped up charges, no pun intended, just some crazy charges that Eric Adams thrown on him. We're going to get rid of those because Eric Adams, you are going after, this whole storyline of these sanctuary city policies are not doing us any good whatsoever. But in Denver, Mike Johnston had to testify to the fact that his folks, his police officers, literally let this guy out onto the streets. Literally let him out onto the streets instead of keeping him incarcerated in the facility and letting ICE come in and do that. Instead, they had to chase him around an effing parking lot. Let's look at the video. Here we go. So they are, oh, we're out of here. We are out of here. Run, Forrest, run. Run, Forrest. ICE is just chasing him down. I would assume this is not gated. Like, there's no perimeter here. They're just chasing this guy all around. So what an enormous waste of resource. Oh, one guy fell down. What an enormous waste of resources to have five guys chasing around one dude that they could have easily just kept inside the facility. But instead, they literally, the video keeps going on, but there's nothing else exciting, just, a bunch of standard stuff. But in this event, the criminal illegal alien, what's his name? Yeah, Abraham Gonzalez Smith. Smith, yeah, I betcha. He assaulted an officer. I believe he bit the police officer. I could be wrong on that. I could be wrong on that. But an illegal alien gang member has been caught. Let's go here. An illegal alien gang member has been caught on camera assaulting an immigration customs enforcement after the sanctuary city of Denver, Colorado, set him free in the streets. And by in the streets, I mean on his card, it indicates being released to streets. Yeah, that's what they do. They don't keep him inside the facility. They just, here you go. Fly, birdie, fly. Run, Forrest, run. Let's see how far you can get. This is one of those things where this is how Denver, this is how, any of these big sanctuary cities flaunts federal law by letting, criminal illegals run around willy-nilly just doing their thing. They don't uphold the law because if they were doing that, you wouldn't have this kind of exchange where, they give him a 1 hour notice and say, he's going to be here. We're going to let him go onto the streets. You guys catch him if you can. Literally catch him if you can. At a hearing on Wednesday, Denver Mayor Mike Johnston was one of four Democrat mayors to testify before the House Oversight Committee regarding their city's sanctuary policies. I watched all 4 hours, 5 hours, whatever of that was. Between, the Republicans and the Democrats, we are living in different universes. Literally living in different universes. Good example. Mayor of Chicago thinks that he is just really getting some results here. Crime's down. This is happening. This is the greatest thing ever. He spent, millions and millions and millions of dollars of finite resources that should be going to the people of Chicago on the illegals. He's got a, get this, 6.7% approval rating with one of the polls. Another poll said he had a 14% approval rating. 6% of the constituents say, yeah, Brandon Johnston's doing a great job. One of the lowest approval ratings of a major mayor of a North American city ever. But if you heard him in yesterday's testimony, you would think that Chicago is on the up and up, got all this economic development. We're putting all this money into this. They're basically just cherry picking details because all the stuff he's talking about, his constituents are saying, no, terrible mayor. Johnston famously suggested last year that he would be willing to go to jail to protect illegal aliens from federal immigration enforcement. What did that look like? That looked just like this. Democrat Mayor Denver Mayor vows mass resistance, police blockades against Trump's migration mandate. That's how far he's willing to go. And then yesterday, we enforce all laws. It was just a bunch of nonsense. Committee Chairman Jim Jordan, Republican from Ohio, grilled Johnson over the case of Abraham Gonzalez, the dude we saw running here, a known illegal alien gang member of Venezuela's violent Tren de Aragua. Perfect. Gonzalez was first released into the United States in September 2023 by former President Joe Biden's administration. How often do we hear that? Released under Biden. Only a few months after being released from the U.S. Interior, Gonzalez was arrested for aggravated assault. In March 2024, he was arrested for motor vehicle theft and felony menacing. He's a convicted criminal. He needs to be deported. How does Denver handle it? Well, they release him to the streets. ICE, good luck. Hope you catch him. Run! 6 days after the menacing charge against him, ICE agents requested custody of Gonzalez and sought a 48-hour notification from the Denver Sheriff's Department ahead of his release from jail. You know what they got? Uno hora, right? Yep. Hora. Now, I can't. Spanish. Instead, the Denver Sheriff's Department, complying with the city's sanctuary policies, released Gonzalez to the streets and gave ICE agents just 1 hour notification. This is the reality that ICE is facing. This is the reality that especially progressive Democrats, are ignoring. Hey, you're totally violating federal law by allowing these people just to run willy-nilly. You say that you're upholding sanctuary city policies. Those sanctuary city policies are in direct violation of federal law. Period. Oh, no, we're keeping with our sanctuary city policies. Maybe those aren't the best to keep public safety being a thing. Maybe that's a thing. But in the world of these progressive Democrats, you hear them talk and they think they're doing the world a favor by basically giving all of these criminal illegal aliens protection. And they got protesters out there with bullhorns. ICE is coming, guys. ICE is coming. Let's do another protest. Just mental. Another document shows the Denver Sheriff's Police Department warning Gonzalez that ICE is looking to arrest him when he is released from jail. Hey, I know that we're the police department, but because we're a sanctuary city, we feel we need to tell you ICE is right out there, dude. You got to run like a mofo. You got to get those wheels going the minute you get out of the door. And you can see them walk out and they're looking around and they're like, oh, now's our chance. Boom, gone, right? Fortunately, ICE was just around the corner. Subsequently, ICE agents were forced to attempt to arrest the gang member in the parking lot of the jail rather than inside the jail. 6 ICE agents were involved in the arrest, captured on surveillance footage. One of the agents can be seen assaulted by Gonzalez. An officer got assaulted because of your sanctuary policy, Jordan told Johnston. Johnston tried to say, yeah, we've reached out to ICE and want to talk to those agents. And yada, yada. Shouldn't have happened. Get rid of the sanctuary city policy. Shit can that because it is violation of public safety. Plain and simple. They're not going after your average student, mom, dad, hardworking. They're not going after those folks. They're going after folks that have committed crimes in the United States and that already have deportation orders, like this roadrunner here, right? President Donald Trump's Department of Justice is seeking to eliminate sanctuary jurisdictions like Denver. Good, and good across the U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi has filed a lawsuit against Chicago and the state of Illinois for its sanctuary policies, shielding illegal aliens from federal immigration enforcement. Why would you do that? How can you stand behind that? Bondi has also ordered the Department of Justice to pause federal funds going to sanctuary jurisdictions like Denver. They're all a Twitter. Panties in a bunch, right? Oh, what's going to happen? Well, maybe you should have thought of that before you violated federal law by becoming a sanctuary city and basically not working with federal officers in the deportation of criminal illegal aliens within the United States. Maybe you should have thought of that. Oh, we're progressive, though. Well, this is what we do. Several sanctuary jurisdictions are now suing the administration over that move. I bet they are. I mean, the whole thing is just, what's going on? Here's the end result of that. This is funny. Denver's mayor says that adjustments might be necessary after alleged assault of ICE agent outside county jail. You know what's going to be necessary? An adjustment by all of these mayors to their sanctuary city policy. Because you know why? They got grilled. I mean, they got put on the hot spot. I think Marjorie Taylor Greene had some of the best comments. She basically just walked right through, hey, southern border wide open, fentanyl, human trafficking, sex trafficking, illegals pouring through on a daily basis. And she just walked right through that. And if you were to hear the Democrats talk, it's as if there's no issues whatsoever with all of these just completely safe, normal illegals coming into the country and just, walking into the interior of the United States. It's all good. What they don't recognize is that if you let 12, 15, 20 million illegals into the country, a certain percentage are going to be bad. A certain percentage are going to be rapists. A certain percentage are going to be involved with gang. I mean, they're going to be Tren de Aragua. They're going to be MS-13. They're going to be whatever. And they're already set up in the United States. Case in point, Aurora, Colorado, next door to Denver. Denver might be getting better. Aurora ain't, right? Because Aurora isn't even a sanctuary city, but they've got the overflow. They've got slightly cheaper housing. That's where Tren de Aragua went. And yet we're told, that didn't happen. They didn't overtake buildings. You're lying. And then they have to basically evict everybody out of these multiple apartment complexes because they're just overrun with criminal activity. Tren de Aragua. It's like the joke that I always tell people is, what's the difference between a outlandish right-wing conspiracy theory and the truth? What's the difference between right-wing conspiracy theory and the truth? About 6 months. Yeah, it's a good one, right? It's a good one. You can use it if you want. Yeah. So we might need to make some adjustments after he was literally, let's watch Jim Jordan. He's a good guy.
All goes down in less than 30 seconds. He leaves the jail, sees the agents, runs, jumps. Agents follow. They all go out of view, come back into view, more running, and then a tackle. One story.
That right? That refresh your memory?
Two.
I do know about the detainer request. I do know that we provided a notification of release.
A clear divide exposed during a contentious 5-minute interaction between Representative Jim Jordan of Ohio and Mayor Mike Johnston of Denver.
What kind of notice did you give ICE when you released him?
We gave him notification. I'm not sure how long in advance it was. I do know that
1 hour. There was 1 hour notice.
Technically, 1 hour and 12 minutes. The city sent this email.
That's better.
ICE Abraham Gonzalez's release was imminent. At 2:47 p.m. on Friday, he walked at 3:59 p.m. This is cooperation, says the mayor.
If you talk about sanctuary as a definition of shielding people from law enforcement, we do not do that.
In 2024, we found the city notified ICE 84 times of an imminent release of an inmate ICE wanted to take into custody, an average of 7 times a month. Problem is, at least according to Representative Jordan, that cooperation isn't good enough.
We have a city ordinance that governs.
Because you're a sanctuary city. This is the whole point.
No, sir, I disagree with you.
Without a judge-signed
Yes, he does.
Denver does not
Look at
allow
this.
agents to take people into custody inside its jails.
And there was one just mentally ill. She's just absolutely deranged. There's one woman who was like, I don't understand why it took the resources of 6 federal officers to chase down a man in a parking lot. She says something like those. Hey, Granny, get your ass out there and you chase down a dude running for his life, right? That's probably in his, 30s? You chase him down, you tackle him, and you see if you can get handcuffs on him. Why don't you give that a try and see how that goes? He might be fighting for his life because you know why? He doesn't want to get deported. He wants to stay in Estados Unidos because they have welcomed him in Denver and he wants to continue his criminal activity. Instead, because you're a Democrat and you're supporting sanctuary city policy, you're not doing anybody any favors, right? 0 favors. February is the lowest in history for border encounters, the White House says. So border encounters have been dropping since December of 2023. I was there at Eagle Pass in January, February, March, a couple of times right during that time period. And it was wildly evident that the spigot had been turned off. Texas had started Operation Lone Star and was going full tilt, meaning that they were pushing back on the Biden administration, just basically having a wide open southern border. And so those numbers have been dropping. But since Trump has literally done all the things that he has done, hasn't had any legislation, 0 legislation. And we've got the lowest in history for border encounters. So all that nonsense with the Democrats say, if we just could have had some of that legislation get put in place that the Republicans cock-blocked us on that. Because it was a terrible deal. It was terrible legislation. All you really needed to do was leave all the stuff in place that Trump had and then follow the law. Imagine that. Follow the law and you end up with the lowest in history for border encounters. Now, you got some stuff in there as well with the Biden administration, Biden trying to get reelected. They heavily leaned on Mexico to stop the numbers. And so that has been ongoing. That's been ongoing. So not only do you have Texas fighting back, you've now got, you had the Biden administration. Oh, this isn't a good look. These numbers at the border, we got to cut those down because we're not going to get elected. And in fact, we're going to go on this tough on border stance. Kamala Harris, tough on border. She was the border czar, did 0 at the border. Now, all of a sudden, she's running for office. Oh, yeah. Tough on the border. Literally, that's the flip-flop that she did. Wild flip-flop. She went from supporting Black Lives Matter, which wants to eliminate borders, wants to eliminate the justice system, wants to eliminate cops, wants to eliminate judges, wants to eliminate everything and just, we'll just see how it goes. We'll throw some money into social workers in our communities. Okay, that should work out just fine. That's who Kamala Harris supported. So she went from that to, oh man, these numbers are not good. The optics of me getting elected, not going to happen if people still think that I'm the border czar and I'm not doing anything. So just a massive flip-flop. And then with Trump in office, you've had literally just a huge turn of events. You've got the whole building the wall again. That's been ongoing. You got the building of the wall. You've got how many executive actions Trump has done. I mean, just piece after piece after piece of the puzzle going back to get lowest encounters in history for the border. And you've got a ton of Democrats who are just sitting by going, oh, yeah, this makes us look terrible. We look terrible. And you do. You look awful. You look horrific because Trump hasn't had to do anything but actually follow the law. Weird. Put resources to that. Unlike these sanctuary cities, Mike Johnston being one, and the example here being the perfect example of sanctuary city policy might not be in violation technically in a lot of cases with federal policy. They kind of try and make it seem like, oh yeah, we comply. And you hear it in the congressional hearing. You hear that just endlessly. Oh, we comply, but they don't. That's the bottom line. They don't comply with federal law. They allow criminal illegal aliens to just run around willy-nilly. Literally, that's what we saw. Run, Forrest, run. You can run your ass off, boy, because otherwise they're going to catch you. And they did, and he assaulted an ICE officer, and I hope he immediately gets deported. Or maybe he goes to jail. I'm not sure. But it's Denver, so, none of that's probably going to happen. Deportation for him. Out you go. Bye-bye. Hasta luego. See you later. Sayonara. All right. That's it for me on this one. Thanks so much for being here. I'll catch up with you in the next episode. Bye for now.